The trial of Gilles Lesquanec, a French surgeon accused of being a serial pedophile, has captivated the nation, its core being the chilling Black Books, handwritten notebooks detailing alleged sexual abuse of numerous children. These notebooks, filled with horrifying accounts, form the damning evidence against Lesquanec, who stands accused of raping and sexually abusing hundreds of children. The revelation has sent shockwaves through France, leaving victims and the public reeling. One such victim, a 38-year-old mother of three, recounted her disbelief upon learning from officers that she had been a victim of Lesquanec's heinous acts. Her story, tragically, is far from unique. The 4-month trial will undoubtedly shed light on the systemic failures that allowed Lesquanec's predatory behavior to persist for nearly a decade, raising critical questions about the responsibility of local health and hospital authorities. The surgeon, employed across a dozen public and private medical establishments in Brittany and Western France, continued practicing even after a conviction for accessing online child abuse images in 2004. Morissette Vinet, whose grandson Matthijs was one of Lesquanec's patients, poignantly described the pervasive silence surrounding the surgeon's activities. "There was an omerta," she stated to The Observer. "People knew but said nothing. If there hadn't been this silence, then he'd have been banned from seeing children in 2004, and there would have been far fewer victims." This statement underscores the devastating consequences of inaction and the widespread failure to protect vulnerable children. The chilling truth is that many more victims might have been spared if appropriate measures had been taken promptly. The Lesquanec case resonates with the recent Mazin hearing, where 51 men were convicted of raping and sexually assaulting Gisèle Pellicot, highlighting a disturbing pattern of systemic failures within the French justice system and a horrifying disregard for the safety and well-being of vulnerable individuals. The sheer scale of the abuse in both cases underscores the need for comprehensive reform and a complete overhaul of existing safeguards meant to protect children. Amélie Leverk, 43, discovered her own victimization only after reading a newspaper article about Lesquanec in 2019. Her subsequent contact with her GP led to the revelation that Lesquanec had performed her appendectomy in 1991. During a session with a psychotherapist, Leverk experienced a resurgence of suppressed memories, vividly recounting the trauma of the event. "In a few seconds, I was back to being 9 years old again in the recovery room at the clinic," she told La Montagne newspaper. "Everything came back, the feelings, the smells, the cold, the heat, the rape, all of it." Her testimony exemplifies the profound and long-lasting impact of childhood sexual abuse. Frédéric Benoist, lawyer for the Child Protection Association La Voix de l'Enfant, Child's Voice, a civil party in the case, unequivocally stated that a chain of structural failures within the country's justice and health systems allowed Lesquanec to continue his reign of terror for so long. This observation underscores the urgency for comprehensive reform and heightened vigilance to prevent such atrocities from recurring. Journalist Hugo Lemonier's book, Pièges, Trapped, meticulously details the contents of Lesquanec's notebooks, linking entries to victims' police statements and providing a chilling narrative of the surgeon's crimes. Lemonier's investigation further illuminates the extent of the systemic failures and the devastating consequences for victims. His work serves as a stark reminder of the necessity for increased accountability within the medical and legal professions. The trial of Gilles Lesquanec is not merely a legal proceeding. It's a stark indictment of a system that failed to protect its most vulnerable members. It serves as a harrowing reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked abuse and the urgent need for comprehensive reform to prevent future tragedies. The scale of Lesquanec's crimes and the systemic failures that allowed them to occur demand a thorough investigation and a decisive response from French authorities to ensure that no child suffers a similar fate. The hope is that this case will lead to significant changes in protecting children and supporting survivors. For support, contact the NSPCC on 800-1111 for children or 808-800-5000 for adults concerned about a child, or NAPAC on 808-801-331 for adult survivors. The fight for justice and for preventing future instances of such horrific abuse continues.